Future Horizon new main box leak is here. Let's talk about this box. This will, in fact, change the meta.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at him. Let's go.
Starting off with Cyber Dragon's new ultra rare Cyber Dragon card. Cyber Dragon is high potential for being a top tier deck. The new boss monster is Chimeratech Rampage Dragon. It requires 2+ Cyber Dragon monsters, so it does not have to be a Cyber Dragon. It could be a Cyber Dragon monster, which makes it a lot easier to summon. When you summon it, it's 2100 attack. Destroy back row cards equal to the number of cards you use to fuse with. If you use 3, destroy 3 back row cards, but it's still just 2100 attack. Also, while on the field, you could send up to 2 Cyber Dragon monsters from your deck to the graveyard to perform additional attacks, up to 2. So you can attack up to 3 times if you want to with this card. That is 6,300 damage. That is nuts. It's also a Dark Fusion, which makes it even easier to summon with another card. We'll get to that card. Initial thoughts, great boss monster. I do think it's better than Cyber Twin Dragon. Cyber Twin Dragon is 2 Cyber Dragons, a little harder to summon. This is a light monster. It can double attack, but it's 2800, so that does make it better than the Rampage Dragon just for being higher attack in that category. It does struggle. This deck in general is going to struggle against any monster bigger than 2100. Hopefully you have double Cyber Dragon to summon this, if not. So let's talk about now another brand new card, another brand new ultra rare card, Overload Fusion. Fusion, summon 1 Dark Fusion from your extra deck, banishing fusions listed on your field or graveyard fusion materials. You cannot use your hand for fusion. Field plus grave. This can summon your Rampage Dragon, or it could summon your Chimeratech Over Dragon, which gains 800 attack per monster used in the fusion. You're probably going to be using the Rampage Dragon. Very good. Now we have a super rare card. Cyber Dragon Core. Don't worry, I'm going to give you combos. I'm going to give you a concept list. You're going to get a replay. Cyber Dragon Core. This is a card you're going to play 3 of. On normal summon, add a Cyber Spell/Trap to your hand. That's very good. Also, it's a Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. Also, while in the graveyard, you could banish it to summon a Cyber Dragon from your deck onto the field if you control no monsters and your opponent controls a monster. But the main thing we like about this card is on summon, adding a Cyber Spell/Trap. The Cyber Spell/Trap you can add is Cyber Load Fusion. This is a quick play spell. It's searchable. It will use your field and banish pile to shuffle it into your deck. So Overload Fusion will use the field and grave to banish it, and then Cyberload Fusion will use the banished cards, probably banished by the effect of Overload Fusion, and the field to return it back to the deck. And then you get to summon your Cyber Dragon Fusion. Or we could search for Cybernetic Overflow. See how we're wondering, how do we get cards banished? Overload Fusion's one way, and Cybernetic Overflow is another way to get your cards banished. Cybernetic Overflow says, banish any number of Cyber Dragon that have different levels from each other from your hand, graveyard, and or face up on the field. Then destroy the same number of cards your opponent controls. So turn 1, you could summon Dragon Core, add the Cybernetic Overflow. You will be destroying at least 1 card on the field. Now, a huge downside is you cannot use Cybernetic Overflow to destroy a card on the field by using a Cyber Dragon Core in the hand. Because this is not a Cyber Dragon in the hand, it's a Cyber Dragon Core. And they also have to be different levels, and they have to be Cyber Dragon. Non-targeted destruction, by the way. You activate it, they don't know what you're going to destroy until you destroy it. Very nice. It's a great setup for Cyber Load Fusion. You banish, then you follow up with the Cyber Load Fusion. Here's a quick little combo. You normal the Dragon Core, you search the Overflow, you pass to your opponent, you activate to banish from your hand, field, or graveyard to destroy an equal amount on the field, and then you could chain Double Cyclone onto your Cybernetic Overflow. There's a hidden effect I didn't tell you about. When you destroy your own Cybernetic Overflow, it can now search for any Cyber Spell/Trap in your deck. So when you chain the Double Cyclone by destroying it, You now get to search for your Cyber Load Fusion, and then you have a follow-up play to follow up summon your Cyber Fusion. Here are some older cards to consider. Machine Duplication, you can activate it on your Dragon Core to summon the rest from your deck. You could also play Cyber Dragon Veer. Fear. Veer can be special summoned when you control a Cyber Dragon monster that is summoned. When you summon it, you could special summon this in the defense, then it'll boost up your Cyber Dragons by plus 500. So Veer is very good for making a play with Cyber Load Fusion. Turn 1, you'll normal summon Core, search for your Cyber Load Fusion, and it will also trigger the effect of Veer to be special summoned, then you could use it right away. Otherwise, with a regular Cyber Dragon, you can't even special summon it unless your opponent controls a monster, so this is a great way to do it. Great play. And also, the other fusions you're going to consider, Cyber End Dragon, 4,000 attack, requires 3 actual Cyber Dragon monsters that are Cyber Dragons, not the monster. So it's kind of difficult to summon, but Veer and Dragon Core are Cyber Dragon on the field and in the grave. That helps, but you cannot use your Overload Fusion to summon your Cyber End Dragon. So even though they are Cyber Dragons while in the graveyard, it doesn't really help in the concept build I'm going to show you. So thank you, Kazars, for the idea. We're going to play Cyber Style, and this is a concept mock-up build of how the deck would look. 3 Cyber Dragon, 2 Veer. I'd probably play 3. I don't really like the Cyber Repair Plant, so maybe just take it out. Don't even consider it. It's basically all the cards we talked about. Summon, search, fuse, make them plays. Now here is a highlight. What's our best play here? Normal summon the Core. Activate the Core. Chain the Veer. Summon the Veer. Veer is here. Get searching for Cyber Load Fusion. Cyber Load Fuse. Come forth. 1, 2. Back in the deck. Summon. Oh, we can activate. There we go. 1, 2. And then set this. Then we end the turn. Then it's opponent's turn. He's going to activate Simoon, banish, play a Black Whirlwind, perform the additional summon. Trigger the Black Whirlwind, but we're going to chain our Cybernetic Overflow. Cybernetic Overflow is going to let us banish. The only targets are the ones in the grave. We cannot use our hand. So we do that. We pop, and Sugoi. That's the combo. That's a pretty good turn 1 combo. But we did not get the Rampage effect, but that's an example of a way to play the deck. Very cool. Here's also a test hand. So we could do with this is we're going to normal summon a Dragon Core, view our deck, add a Cybernetic Overflow, set the Cybernetic Overflow. Now it's our opponent's turn. They do something, it don't matter. We activate this to banish the Dragon Core, banish the Cyber Dragon. That destroys 2 cards on the field. That is nuts. Now it's our turn. We'll draw for our turn. We have an Overload Fusion. We could normal summon the Core, activate its effect to search, but chain the Veer to special summon onto the fields. Now we're going to be searching for the Cyber Load Fusion. We do Overload Fusion. Banish, summon, Rampage Dragon. Rampage Dragon, now activate, destroy 2 back row cards. They're going to chain them, Canadia, Floodgate, whatever, flip face down. Sure, flip it. Now, we could follow up with a Cyber Load Fusion, returning our banished monsters back in the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, it don't matter. Just like that. Then summon another Cyber Chimeratech Rampage Dragon for more destroying, and then we could also perform extra attacks by returning monsters from the deck into the graveyard. Return 2 to the grave. Now you could attack up to 3 times, or by returning those 4 monsters, we could have summoned anything else we wanted. Not a Cyber End, not a Cyber Twin, but we could have summoned a Chimeratech Over Dragon, which would have been boosted by 800, and then it can attack equal to the number of times of the fusion materials we did. So that's a quick sample hand. My thoughts about the deck are you summon Core, you search for the Destruction Trap or the Fusion Spell. The deck may struggle against a deck any bigger than 2100 attack. because it's easy to summon the Rampage Dragon, not as easy to summon a Cyber Twin because you can't even use Overload Fusion for it. Don't even try it. I wouldn't even think about it because it's a light monster. It can only summon the dark ones. Psy-Frames review. We got the field spell. It is a super rare card. What this card says, which we could search with a Psy Reflector into Ancient Fairy Dragon, by the way. So, quick sample. You play Yugi with the skill that plays Yami onto the field. You normal summon Psy Reflector. You add an Assault Beast. This is from the structure deck, by the way. Discard Assault Beast, add the Assault Mode Activate, reveal the Assault Mode Activate, summon the Assault Beast from the graveyard. Instant Synchro into an Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon, destroy your field spell that you started with to search for your Psy-Frame circuit. You're going to want to do that in this deck because that's how good this field spell is. Now, what this says is, if your Psy-Frame monster battles with a monster, you could discard a Psy-Frame from your hand to boost your unit. Well, let's talk about the other effect. If a Psy-Frame monster is special summoned to your side of the field, you can immediately Synchro. Now, why would you want to immediately Synchro when you special summon a Psy-Frame? Well, this deck summons Psy-Frame monsters on your opponent's turn. So just like a Crystron deck, we want to be able to Synchro Shokan on the opponent's turn with the field spell. How do we do that? Well, we do that with the card called Psy-Frame Gear Alpha. When your opponent normal summons a monster or special summons a monster while you have Alpha in your hand, which cannot be normal summon or set, you're going to special summon the Alpha. And from your deck, hand, or graveyard, you're also going to summon a Psy-Frame Driver. So that is a level 7 Synchro. And with that level 7 Synchro, you're going to instantly make a Psy-Frame Lord Zeta. Psy-Frame Lord Zeta, during either player's turn, banish a face-up monster your opponent controls that's special summoned in attack position, and banish the Zeta. So banish both, be protected for the turn, then it comes back in the next standby phase, and you could do it every single turn. This is a generic Synchro, and that's how this works. Now, if this card is in your graveyard, you could target a Psy-Frame card in your graveyard, return Zeta back to the extra deck, add back the Alpha. So it's a great recycling. Alpha, Zeta, over and over, continually recycling. It's a circle. They summon or special summon. Alpha, boom, Synchro with the field spell. Love it. Now, we have a trap that says pay 500 to target a Psy-Frame, banish it, then special summon a Psy-Frame from your hand. Didn't really like it, so I'm just trying to focus on the cards that are good. I don't want to overload you with information. I could read all the effects one by one. That'd be lazy. Let's just tell you what's good. Multi-Threader. This card's decent because Frame Driver will get banished in the end phase with the Alpha if you do not have the field spell. What? Yeah. Alpha in Driver being summoned on your opponent's turn when they normal or special. If you don't have the field spell and you can't do something with them, they're gone in the end phase. So that's a really big deal. You lose your Frame Driver. You thought you could only play one, and now it gets banished. Well, the Multi-Threader has got your back. This counts as a Psy-Frame Driver while it is in the hand or in the graveyard, so it works with your Alpha. Alpha, summon, boom. Now, while this is in the graveyard, and you do not special summon Alpha by its own effect, you summon it through an Ancient Fairy Dragon or another way to special summon it, that will trigger the effect of your Multi-Threader to summon itself from the grave to get Synchro Shokaning. Good play. Also with the Alpha and the field spell, if you don't want to summon a Zeta, you could summon a Samurai Destroyer. That's a great card. You could summon a Black Rose Dragon. Great cards to Synchro on your opponent's turn, but the Zeta Alpha loop is pretty cool. This is a deck concept of how the deck works. Let's do a quick little sample play. And what do you know? We got the play. We play the Psy-Frame circuit. They normal or special summon. We're going to go Alpha, Alpha, activate. Now we could use the Frame Driver or the Threader. I'm going to use the Threader because it counts as a Psy-Frame Driver. Boom. Synchro Shokan immediately into a Zeta. Zeta is here. Now they're going to attack a Zeta because he's weak, right? 2,500. Fool. We're going to discard the Frame Driver and boost it to 5,000 attack. They're pissed. They do Offerings to the Doomed after swinging into Zeta. Zeta is now going to hit the graveyard. Now, while in the graveyard, we're going to activate the Zeta to return itself back to the extra deck and add back Alpha to the hand. And then we draw again. This is just another card we could play. This could grab a Psy Reflector, for example, or you could play Pathfinder. What do? If they normal summon or special summon with the field spell, you're going to alpha, summon, synchro immediately into any synchro you want. Samurai Destroyer, another Zeta. It loops back and forth, just like that. Nuts! So my final thoughts on the playstyle of Psy Frames is basically Psy Reflector searches the field spell plus the Alpha Tuner, level 7 Synchro. Cool! Super heavy Samurai deck type. This is a big brain deck type. This deck type is all about attacking while in defense, just like a Cocytus, but it uses its defense as its attack. So we have a level 5, 6, 7, and a 9 Synchro. The level 6 on summon will destroy all back row cards. The level 9 will gain 900 per opponent special summon monster on the field, so 25 plus 900. Also, the level 7 can attack directly by having its defense, which is its attack, to 1400 to attack directly. And the level 5 can just instantly make the level 7, which is the 2800 defense. Let's talk about these cards. The only ultra rare card is a Daihachi. Daihachi on normal summon will search for any super heavy soul monster. They're not all heavy soul, so we'll look at what they could do. It cannot search itself because it is not a soul heavy samurai. Now we have two super rare cards. We have a Soul Piercer and we have a Soul Peacemaker. These are the cards that can be searched for by your Daihachi. Your Soul Piercer will equip onto a monster you control. Now, when it is sent to the graveyard, and you're going to send it to the graveyard through tribute summoning or synchroing or using the effect of your Soul Peacemaker. We'll get to that in a second. But when it gets sent to the graveyard after equipping to a monster, it will search for any heavy samurai monster. So the Daihachi will search for a soul, and the Soul Piercer will search for anything. And by searching for anything, it's going to search for the level 5 that could be special summoned for free. No drawback from the hand. Level 5 is going to be used for synchroing. Or it could search for Trumpeteer. Level 2 Tuner can be special summoned for free. Again, no real drawback, just special summon it, then Synchro Shokan. Now, if you're not synchroing with the Soul Piercer to get it in the graveyard or tributing your monster, for example with the Waruji, we're going to look at the Peacemaker. Peacemaker will equip onto a monster and then tribute it. And when tributing it, it could summon any monster from the deck that's a super heavy samurai. Again, not restricted to be summoning only a soul version, but it could summon the level 5, and then your Piercer could search for the level 2. So you summon the 5, search the 2, special the 2, make the level 7 Synchro. Level 7 Synchro, 2800 defense, and can attack while in defense. That is nuts. Next up, if you haven't noticed, all these cards require you to not have Speller Traps in your graveyard. So we're not playing any Speller Traps in the deck at all. It is monster heavy. By being monster heavy, we're going to play Giga Gloves, potentially. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put them back in any order. Then if your opponent declares a direct attack while this is in the graveyard, you can essentially negate their attack by making their attack become 0 if it's a direct attack. And also, you get to draw a card if it's a super heavy samurai, which it will be because that's your whole deck. And you get to add it to your hand. Very nice. We have Soul Shield Wall. This card is good for searching with your Piercer. When Piercer sent to the grave to make a synchro, you get to add your wall. Then you can equip your wall onto any of your synchros and it will boost their defense by 1200, which means the 2800 defense synchro becomes 4000 defense, which attacks with that 4000 defense, 4K to the face. Now, let's watch a little combo of what could make this deck good. 2-card combo, pay attention. We're going to summon the Daihachi. Daihachi is going to activate. It's going to go to defense. Then we put it back to attack. To add from our deck to our hand, we're going to add the Peacemaker. This is what you want to focus on. The Piercer and the Peacemaker. So we're going to equip both onto him. And then we're going to activate the effect of Peacemaker to tribute. So everything's going to go to the graveyard now. And by tributing it, we're going to summon a super heavy samurai from the deck, a Flutist, onto the field. We're not done. Now the effect of the Piercer is activating to search the deck for a level 2 Tuner to the hand. What's the flutist? The flutist, while in the graveyard, could banish itself to negate any card that would target a super heavy samurai. So we're going to special summon the trumpeter. Then we're going to synchro 3 + 2 equals level 5. Here's level 5. On summon, add back the level 2. Then special summon the level 2. Then synchro into the level 7. And just like that, this field, 2,800 defense, cannot be targeted by card effects. If they target it, we banish the flute. Just like that, and that's a 2-card combo. That is Sugoi. If you don't want the flute, you could have instead ended the field with something like this. You could have grabbed the Soul Shield wall to make it 4,000 defense. That's another way instead of having the protected from being targeted. So think about that. Pretty cool. Here is a concept build. It's just a concept. It's not the optimal way to play, but that's what you saw in the demonstration. A very cool way to play the deck. Full monster, lots of synchros, be protected from card effects, or also boost your monsters to get really, really big. And that's how the deck is played. Also, it's worth noting that the Soul Piercer doesn't just search, it also gives your monster piercing damage through defense monsters. So if you're already done searching and you have an extra Soul Piercer, equip it onto a big synchro, pierce through that booty. That was part 1 of the review. Stay tuned for part 2.